Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Today, I want to address a topic that may be uncomfortable, but one that resonates with many people in our modern, fast-paced world. A woman with no friends. At first glance, the phrase might evoke images of loneliness, isolation, or a woman who feels disconnected from the world around her. But what if I told you that this woman could be thriving in her solitude? What if I told you that sometimes the lack of friends is not a sign of failure, but a deep reflection of strength, personal growth, and understanding? Let's dig deeper into the complexities of this reality. Being a woman without close friends can bring forth a range of emotions. It can feel like a personal failure or a sign of social rejection. But as we peel back the layers, we begin to understand that a woman without friends does not necessarily mean she's alone. She may be surrounded by opportunities for self-reflection, independence and growth. A woman without friends often finds herself in a unique position where she must rely heavily on her own strength and abilities to navigate life. Self-reliance becomes an essential characteristic in her day-to-day existence. With no close friendships to lean on, she learns to become the pillar of her own emotional support system, building resilience from within. She discovers that she doesn't need external validation or constant companionship to feel whole or accomplished. Instead, she begins to trust in her own judgments, her ability to make decisions, and her strength to carry on despite the challenges she faces. This self-reliance is not about isolating herself or rejecting the idea of friendship. Rather, it is about embracing her autonomy and learning to take care of her own emotional, mental, and physical well-being. She learns that while friendships can enrich her life, they are not the sole source of fulfillment. She becomes adept at solving problems on her own, managing her emotions without relying on others to fix her, and facing life's ups and downs with confidence. In fact, self-reliance often fosters a deep sense of pride and empowerment because she knows that the strength to overcome obstacles comes from within, not from others. Being self-reliant also means taking responsibility for her own happiness. She understands that happiness is an internal experience, not something that can be given or taken away by others. While it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that friends or social circles can be the key to emotional fulfillment, a woman without close friends learns that fulfillment comes from within. She is not dependent on others to define her worth or validate her emotions. This independence allows her to build a deep sense of confidence, knowing that she has the ability to stand on her own, make decisions based on her values, and trust her inner voice. Moreover, this self-reliance fosters an increased sense of resilience. When faced with hardships or setbacks, a woman without friends often has no choice but to rely on her own inner strength to push through. While others might seek comfort in friends or family during difficult times, she learns to embrace the discomfort and uncertainty of life. She becomes resourceful, finding creative solutions to her problems and developing coping mechanisms that allow her to handle stress, grief, and uncertainty on her own. This resilience is something that can only be nurtured through experience. Through trial and error, she builds emotional stamina and strength that many people might not fully appreciate until they face their own moments of solitude. What's even more powerful is that in learning self-reliance, She discovers the power of her own voice. Without the influence of friends, she becomes more attuned to her own needs, desires and aspirations. She has the space to listen to her intuition, to explore her passions without outside influence, and to chart her own course in life. Many women feel the need to fit into society's expectations of having a certain circle of friends or engaging in social activities. But the woman who stands alone can redefine what success and fulfillment look like on her terms without the need to conform to what is traditionally expected of her. She recognizes that she has the ability to make her own choices and that those choices can lead to a life of deep satisfaction and personal growth. In this way, self-reliance empowers her to be true to herself. When she is not dependent on the approval or companionship of others, she is freer to pursue what truly excites her without fear of judgment or expectations. She creates a life that reflects her core values, her passions, and her aspirations. It's this sense of autonomy and self-determination that gives her a profound sense of pride, because she knows that every accomplishment and every step forward has been earned on her own. This inner strength is one of the greatest gifts she can give herself. Self-reliance also nurtures a deeper sense of self-worth. When a woman stands alone and navigates the world without needing constant validation from friends or external sources, she starts to realize just how capable and worthy she truly is. She learns to validate herself, to acknowledge her own strengths and achievements, and to recognize her own value without needing others to constantly reinforce it. This understanding becomes a bedrock of confidence, where she knows that her worth is not tied to how others perceive her, but to the person she has become through her own efforts. Through this journey of self-reliance, she empowers herself to face life's challenges head-on without feeling that she's missing something. She doesn't feel the need to compare herself to others who might have larger social circles or more traditional sources of support. Instead, she becomes comfortable in her own skin, realizing that the most important relationship she has is the one with herself. The ability to thrive independently and not rely on friendships to define her happiness allows her to live a life that is truly authentic and aligned with her own desires and aspirations. In essence, being a woman with no friends fosters an incredible opportunity for self-discovery, empowerment and growth. Her self-reliance is not a burden. It is a blessing that allows her to navigate life with purpose, confidence, and a deep understanding of who she truly is. She becomes the architect of her own happiness, relying on her inner strength to build the life she wants, regardless of the social dynamics around her. This journey of self-reliance is not always easy, but it is undoubtedly one of the most rewarding paths she can take. When a woman is without close friends, she is presented with a rare and valuable opportunity: the space for personal growth and reflection. Without the constant social engagements and the influence of others, she has the freedom to explore her own thoughts, desires and experiences. This solitude, while at times uncomfortable, offers her the chance to turn inward and truly assess who she is, what she wants, and where her life is heading. This period of reflection allows her to evaluate her past, learning from the mistakes and triumphs that have shaped her. In solitude, she can step back and look at her life without judgment or the distractions of others' opinions. Instead of seeking approval or validation from friends or a social circle, she learns to rely on self-assessment. She develops a keen awareness of her strengths, her flaws, and the areas in which she needs to grow. This self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth, as she is able to make decisions that align more closely with her true self. With the space to reflect on her life, a woman without friends often finds clarity. She has time to reflect on past relationships, her career choices, her aspirations, and even the types of friendships she values. She can reassess her goals without the fear of disappointing others or living up to their expectations. This space of reflection helps her to redefine her priorities. What once seemed urgent may now feel less important, while other goals and aspirations might emerge as more significant. The absence of external distractions provides an environment for deep introspection that might be harder to achieve with the constant noise of social interaction. Additionally, this solitude offers her a chance to heal. Sometimes the pain of past friendships or personal experiences can weigh heavily on a woman, and without close friends around to distract her, she can work through that emotional baggage. Healing requires the courage to face the parts of ourselves that we often avoid, the wounds from past relationships, the disappointments and the regrets. But it is in this very process of facing the pain and learning from it that she begins to heal. This growth is not immediate, but with time and patience, it will lead to greater emotional resilience and an improved sense of self-worth. In this environment of solitude, a woman can also pursue personal development in a way that is deeply aligned with her needs and desires. She can explore new interests, learn new skills, or pursue activities that nourish her soul. Whether it's reading books, traveling, practicing meditation, or studying a new subject, the freedom from the demands of friendships gives her the space to follow her own path to growth. This kind of personal development can be incredibly enriching, as she focuses solely on herself and her own happiness without the fear of judgment or comparison. Ultimately, the solitude experienced by a woman without friends is not a punishment or a negative aspect of her life, it is a powerful tool for growth. Reflection and self-improvement are often born in these quiet moments, where she is free to become the woman she is meant to be. It is in the silence, the absence of external influences, that she truly learns to hear her own voice and grow into her fullest potential. A woman who is without close friends often experiences an incredible freedom to focus deeply on her personal goals and ambitions. Without the obligations of maintaining multiple friendships or engaging in social events, she is able to channel her energy into what truly matters to her. This focus becomes a source of empowerment, as she can fully devote her time and effort to the things that are meaningful and important in her life. With no distractions from social pressures, she can prioritize her career ambitions, dreams, and passions without feeling guilty or torn between different social commitments. She can set clear, long-term goals, whether they relate to personal achievements, professional milestones, or creative projects. The absence of a social circle means fewer distractions, enabling her to stay committed to her vision and take decisive actions toward realizing it. The time she once spent in social engagements is now repurposed for growth, development, and productivity. The freedom to focus on her own goals also means that she has the space to redefine her success. Many people measure their success by the number of friends they have or the level of social approval they receive. However, a woman without friends has the unique opportunity to define success on her own terms. For her, Success might not be about fitting into a specific mold, it might be about achieving a personal dream, whether that is writing a book, mastering a skill, or building a successful business. She has the ability to define what achievement means to her without the need to conform to others' expectations. This focus on personal goals can also lead to an increased sense of self-discipline. Without the influence of friends who may offer distractions, a woman learns to stay on track and develop habits that align with her long-term objectives. She can structure her day around her priorities, dedicating time to work, study, exercise, or creative pursuits. Through this discipline, she not only progresses toward her ambitions, but also develops a stronger sense of control over her life. Additionally, the absence of a social circle allows her to take risks and experiment with different career paths or life choices. She is free from the fear of judgment or criticism from others. She can make bold decisions, pursue unconventional paths, and take calculated risks that may lead to incredible growth and opportunity. When you're not tethered to a social circle, there is a sense of freedom to explore new possibilities and venture into the unknown, which can lead to profound personal and professional transformation. The freedom to focus on one's goals also nurtures a sense of clarity and purpose. Without the noise of social interactions, a woman can more easily hear her inner voice guiding her toward her true passions. She is not swayed by others' opinions about what she should do with her life, but instead follows her authentic desires and instincts. This clarity leads to a life that is more aligned with her true purpose, helping her achieve not only professional success but also a deep sense of fulfillment in pursuing what she loves. In a world that often equates social connections with happiness and success, a woman without friends challenges the very conventional idea of friendship that society holds dear. We are often taught from a young age that friends are necessary for emotional well-being, that a woman's value is tied to her social network, and that without a group of close-knit companions, something is missing from her life. However, this notion is limiting and fails to acknowledge the richness that can come from individual experiences and relationships. A woman without friends often challenges the societal belief that she needs to fit in with a particular social circle to be fulfilled. She may instead find connection and purpose in other areas of life, such as through her work, her passions, or her spiritual beliefs. The idea that we need to have a large group of friends to be happy is a myth, one that suggests social approval is the ultimate measure of success. However, a woman who chooses to walk her own path without this need for external validation demonstrates that fulfillment comes from within and that it is possible to lead a rich, meaningful life without being constantly surrounded by others. Furthermore, friendship itself is subjective. While some people thrive in large social circles, others find that they only need a few deep connections to feel truly supported and understood. A woman without friends might prefer quality over quantity, believing that a few meaningful relationships are more valuable than numerous superficial ones. She may not feel the need to be surrounded by a group of people constantly and instead seeks deeper, more profound connections that are more fulfilling and true to her values. For her, friendship might not be about quantity or social appearances, but about finding authenticity and mutual respect in relationships. In fact, she may even come to see friendship in a different light altogether. Friendship is not always about shared experiences, but about mutual respect, understanding, and support. The absence of friends allows her to examine what true friendship means to her and whether the friendships she has or doesn't have align with her values. She may find that the traditional view of friendship as a group of people meeting regularly for socializing doesn't fit her needs or desires. Instead, she may cultivate meaningful relationships in ways that don't require constant interaction, perhaps through mentorship, one-on-one connections, or spiritual or professional communities. In essence, challenging the conventional idea of friendship allows her to redefine what it means to connect with others. She may find her greatest source of fulfillment not in traditional friendships, but in relationships that encourage personal growth, mutual respect, and shared values. This perspective allows her to break free from societal expectations and embrace a more authentic and individualized approach to the connections that matter most. Solitude, for a woman without friends, presents an invaluable opportunity for unfiltered self-discovery. When she is not constantly influenced by others' opinions, advice, or judgments, she has the chance to truly discover who she is, what she wants, and what makes her feel alive. Without the noise of social interactions, she can hear her inner voice more clearly and explore her true desires without the fear of societal judgment or the need to please anyone else. This unfiltered self-discovery is a journey of peeling back the layers of who she has become over the years. It's about questioning the beliefs she has been taught and examining the motivations that have shaped her life choices. In the absence of friendships, she no longer seeks to fit into a mold created by others and instead can explore her own identity on her own terms. She can question her values, revisit her goals, and reassess her dreams, all in an environment free of external pressure. Through this process, she begins to identify her true passions and interests, those that are authentic to her and not influenced by others' desires. She has the opportunity to take risks, step outside of her comfort zone, and experiment with different aspects of herself that might have been suppressed in the past. She can learn new skills, explore new hobbies, or engage in activities that feed her soul without feeling the need to conform to anyone else's expectations of what she should be doing. This kind of self-discovery can also be deeply healing. Without the distraction of friendships that may have been filled with drama, competition, or unhealthy dynamics, she has the chance to heal from past wounds. She can reflect on past relationships, learn from her mistakes, and grow emotionally. In solitude, she has the space to process her emotions, address unresolved pain, and build emotional resilience. This emotional maturity is a key part of her personal development. A woman without friends often learns that quality matters more than quantity when it comes to relationships. While society often emphasizes the importance of having a wide social circle, she comes to realize that having fewer but more meaningful connections is far more valuable. Relationships based on genuine respect, understanding, and shared values carry far more weight than simply having a large number of acquaintances or people around. She may prefer deep, one-on-one connections over superficial group settings, valuing the strength of the bond over the number of people involved. The focus on quality allows her to nurture relationships that are more enriching and authentic. Instead of investing time and energy in relationships that feel transactional or shallow, she can direct her attention to building connections that are based on mutual trust and deep emotional resonance. These kinds of connections are not defined by the amount of time spent together, but by the quality of the interactions. Moreover, focusing on quality relationships allows her to set boundaries that serve her best interests. In contrast to a social life that demands her attention and time from multiple people, a woman without a large circle of friends can invest her time in the relationships that truly matter to her, allowing her to cultivate more enriching and supportive bonds. She has the ability to carefully choose the people who add value to her life, and she can nurture those relationships in a way that feels balanced and fulfilling. In the end, she realizes that the depth of a relationship is far more important than its number. Quality over quantity becomes her guiding principle, and she finds that the most meaningful